Hi everyone! Today I want to talk about the journey I went through to get a new hearing aid and some of the bumps in the road I had along the way. So in my past experience, I've only been to places that had multiple brands, hearing aid brands that I could choose from. And that's what I was used to. And fast forward now, I have different insurance and they had a list of places I could go to. So I picked an option and I didn't really realize that this place only offered one specific hearing aid brand. And it was Beltone. I didn't realize Beltone was a hearing aid brand at the time. And I thought it was just the name of the place. Of course, I get there and they explain they only offer Beltone hearing aids. And that wasn't really what I wanted initially. I was planning to get Phonak. But I was like, I'm already here and maybe I should give this a chance. So I went through all the testing and I ended up ordering a Beltone hearing aid. And then I had to, wait a couple months. I went back to pick it up and then they were trying to program the hearing aid for me. But there were some things that I wasn't really happy with about the service. And I don't know if it's necessarily Beltone in particular. It was just the person I was working with that they just did not make me feel convinced that they knew how to use the software. I was asking for changes and they didn't really know how to change it, and I was looking at their screen and just making some general assumptions. I was like, is that how you do it? And then they changed it and it was like, oh, that worked. And I don't know, something about that just did not give me a good vibe. That I was like, I'm here for a service that I shouldn't be giving you advice on how to make changes. You should know how to do that. And I just was really unhappy about that. I felt really uncomfortable with that. And something I found out about Beltone is that their hearing aids are locked. So that meant I was locked into this service. And any Beltone affiliates where they have to be the ones to program the hearing aid and I couldn't take it elsewhere. So that meant I had to stick with this person if I was going to keep this hearing aid, and I just wasn't really happy with how things were going. So I didn't make a decision that moment. I took the hearing aid home and I was under this trial basis. And it was like, I have to act now and return it. Otherwise, I'm going to be stuck with the service that I'm not happy with. And it was really frustrating to me because I'd already invested so much time into the testing, to ordering it, to getting it programmed. And I was like, I have to start this whole process over again if I return it. But I guess the reason I'm making this video is to talk about how important it is that you do return it if you are unhappy with the service. Because it is an investment. You will have this hearing aid for years, and if there's something you're not happy with, you have to act right away. You need to return it despite how much time it took to go through all the hoops to get here. It's really important that you act and return it and find something that you're happier with, because you're going to regret it later if you don't have the right brand, if you're not working with the right people. And I know it's frustrating. I was frustrated because it was like over a couple of months just to do the testing, wait for it to show up, to get programmed. And I was like, I don't want to have to do this all over again. But I just wanted to say that it was worth it. I did find another provider, and after I had that experience, now I knew that I should vet people on the phone. Before I set up any more appointments, I asked them all the specific brands they offered, all the types of testing, because I wanted to make sure that I knew what I was getting into before I set up the appointment. And I just think that's really important to do. I think it's also really important to research the hearing aid brands ahead of time. So you know the benefits of one or the other. And I've watched a lot of Dr. Cliff's videos. His videos are amazing on telling you all the specs and advantages and comparing brands so you can find what works best for you. So I really recommend his videos. So eventually I did end up getting the Phonak Odeo Lumity RT. The RT is the only one that had telecoil and Bluetooth, so that's why I picked that one. And it uses Bluetooth Classic, which I like because it is more likely to connect or open to connecting to multiple different types of devices, not just Apple, because there's like Apple's iPhone Bluetooth Low Energy, which works best with Apple, but it's not as open to other devices. So I wanted a hearing aid that was more flexible. So that's why I like this Phonak option compared to some of the other brands. And it can connect to 2 devices at the same time. So I like that as well because when I'm working, sometimes I need to connect to a computer or my phone and I bounce back and forth when listening to like a video or something. So I liked having that option where I can just switch back and forth. But it can be a little buggy. Sometimes it's just trying to assume what device you want, and sometimes it assumes wrong. Like sometimes I'm driving and I'll just be playing music from my car radio, and then in the middle of it, it decides to Bluetooth connect to my hearing aid while I'm driving and start playing the music in my hearing aid. That's not what I wanted at all. I'm not sure why it decided to switch abruptly, but it does sometimes. And there's some other scenarios where it just picked the wrong device. I was like, that's not the one I wanted, and I just kind of have to manually change it. But overall, I am happy with it. So that's a good thing. Another part that is a disadvantage is that the charging case is kind of small. I use a mold, so it takes up more space. And the only reason this works out is because I'm only using one hearing aid. But if you had 2 hearing aids trying to fit in the rechargeable case with the mold, it would not fit. So if that's you, just keep that in mind. It's not a problem for me because of my situation. So overall, I like this hearing aid. I just wanted to point out a couple things that maybe Dr. Cliff didn't notice, or just something about only a person using it on a daily basis, like noticing it switching abruptly between different devices would notice something like that. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit and to encourage people to return a device if you're not happy with the services, and to really research the hearing aid brands out there so that you're really happy with what you have. So thanks for watching. Bye.